All right, what we have here is we're going to I'm going to do a tutorial on how to write a polynomial function of f of least degree that has a rational coefficient and a leading coefficient of 1 and with the given zeros. Well, the given zeros we have right here are these located square root of 7 and 4i. Now, one thing we have to know is that when we have the square root of 7 and 4i, we have to understand that whenever we have these zeros of a polynomial, all right, we also know that they come in conjugate pairs. So if I have the square root of 7, I know I'm going to have the square root of negative 7. And then if I have this 4i, I know I'll also have the opposite of that, or the conjugate, which is negative 4i. Now, once you have this, the key thing is that whenever you're given the zeros, in order to create a function, f of x, we're going to write the factors. And so we're going to group the factors together. So it's going to be x minus our zeros, so I'm going to square root of 7. I'm going to have x plus the square root of 7, because we're going to do x minus the negative square root of 7. And then we have x minus 4i. I'm going to group all these together. And then we have x plus 4i, because the opposite of negative 4i is positive 4i. All right, and that's what we got. All right, now, from here, we're going to do our FOILing. Okay, now this is where students sometimes get a little bit screwed up. Not sure of how to do this, but we're going to FOIL. These are conjugates, so they're actually pretty easy. So we're going to first take x times x, which is x squared. All right, so we're going to do the conjugates pairs first. All right, we do the middle terms, they will cancel out. All right, because they're the conjugates, so they will always cancel out. And then we're going to take negative square root of 7, all right, times positive square root of 7. So negative square root of 7 times a positive square root of 7. We know that's going to turn into, all right, negative 7. All right, so that is our first value right here. We go to the next one. We're going to have x squared. We're going to have this right here. Middle terms, once again, will cancel out, all right, because they're conjugates. Then we'll have negative 4 times 4, which is negative 16. And we have I squared. Now, I squared we know is negative 1. So what we're going to have is x squared, all right, minus 16 times negative 1. Okay, so moving down, we're going to have x squared minus 7 times x squared plus 16. All right. And that, my friends, is where we get to our two, all right, quadratics. And now we're going to finish our final, all right, polynomial, all right, because we're going to have all right, polynomial with least degree, has a rational coefficients, and finishes up. So we'll take x squared times x squared, which is x to the 4th. We're going to take x minus 7x squared. We're then going to take 16, so we have plus 16x squared. And we'll take 7 times 16, which is going to be, excuse me, negative 4 to the 112, I believe it is. Is that right? 2 to the 4, yeah, I think so. All right, and that is our function f of x. As long as they multiply negative 7 times 16 correctly, which I believe I did. All right, and there we have it. Pretty easy. Well, let's try one more. Okay, try this out. All right, here we have another, okay, rational. So do the same thing. All right, see if we can do this. Once again, we're given these two. We know that 2, the conjugate pair, so plus square root of 3. Then we know negative I is another one. All right, so once we get all of our zeros, so this is going to be a quartic. All right, we're going to set this up. We're going to have x minus 2 negative square root of 3. Then we're going to have x minus 2 plus square root of 3. Then we're going to go x minus I, and then we're going to have x plus I. All right, so it's always x minus values, and that's what f is going to equal. All right, so we're looking for least coefficient with rational coefficients. So we have to get rid of these i's and whatnot. These are rational numbers. So now, from here, if we have this long expression, one fast, efficient way to do this is if we group together these first two terms, okay? Because now what we're going to do is we're going to take the first terms using FOIL. We can take x minus 2 times x minus 2. The middle terms will have negative square root of 3 times x minus 2, and then we'll have positive square root of 3 times x minus 2, which will cancel out. We'll then have negative square root of 3 times square root of 3 for our last term right there. I'll just bracket that in. Now let's finish this off. So we're going to have x squared. So now we're just going to FOIL this normally. We'll have negative 4x, and we'll have plus 4. This right here is going to turn to -3 because square root of 3 times square root of 3 is 3, the negative right there. And now we can simplify this to x squared minus 4x plus 1, oops, got the x, and there we have our first expression. And our next one, we have x times x, which is x squared. Middle terms cancel out. Negative I times I is negative I squared. This will turn then into x squared negative times a -1 because I squared is -1. And what we have then is x squared plus 1. That's our answer. All right. Now, we're going to finish this off. Once again, foiling. We have x squared. All right. Minus 4x cubed. We're going to have plus x squared. Plus x squared minus 4x. And we have plus 1. All right. Oops, that should be x to the 4th. All right. And x cubed. Okay. Simplify this. X to the 4th minus 4x cubed. We have plus 2x squared minus 4x plus 1. And that is our simplified answer. All right. Well, I hope this helps you out. I'm going to do another tutorial on how to do this, a couple other ones. But the key thing is x minus, these come in conjugate pairs whenever you have an irrational number and an imaginary. All right, come in conjugate pairs, and make sure you go x minus the zeros and then group them together if you can. Figure that out. All right. Well, I hope this helps you out. Good luck and God bless in the rest of your problems.